The attacks on Mumbai, many international firms have cancelled travel and closed their offices. To discuss the cumulative impact of such attacks on business travellers and tourists, we're joined here by a former British Defence Attaché, Jeremy Williams, who trains Westerners on how to do business in the Arab world, and also by Michael Heron, who's a security analyst with Tor International, a security consultancy. Michael Heron, so how easy is it to improve security at the big hotels? I mean, they're massive, aren't they?
They are massive, and the price is massive, and that's the problem. It's relatively easy to do, but there's an expensive sort of compromise, if you like. You can make it very secure, but as you mentioned, the big hotels, it's very, very expensive to do.
But there's a simple thing to do, isn't there? For instance, have sort of strong reinforced gates
you can put
leading up, so if anybody tries to ram them, I mean, some
that's
hotels
right.
have that.
You can put a ring of steel, if you like, a concrete around it, but then you've got the aesthetic side of things. The hotels, they're not military establishments. So aesthetically, it's not nice, and expensive as well.
Jeremy Williams, do you think business people are going to be worried about these latest attacks and perhaps say to themselves, I'm going to start finding somewhere else to stay, not these big hotels?
I spoke to a colleague in India a short time ago, and I asked him that question. And his response was that in the immediate time of now, of course things are going to be damaged and so on. But the relationship between India and the business communities of the world is enormous. And so when this has died down, his view and my view is that it will pick up again. Business is business. And our hearts and sympathies go out to those who suffered tragedy now. But the brutal fact is that business will continue, not in the immediate future. There will be difficulties. And he told me that there were cancellations of flights and hotel bookings and things like that. But that he thought in about 2 or 3 weeks' time, things would pick up again.
Michael Heron, I mean, just going back to security again at luxury hotels, it goes against the grain of luxury hotels where everything should be made easy for the guests, that they should increase security. I mean, who wants those long queues for security checks like the type you find at airports, for instance?
Exactly. So there's not just the aesthetic side of things, there's the image of the hotel. And as you say, nobody wants to be hanging around waiting, and good security takes time. There's no shortcuts to do it. If it's done correctly, if anyone's been through an Israeli checkpoint, it's done properly, and it takes a long time. And as you say, people pay a lot of money to stay at these hotels, and do they really want that?
But are they going to have to grasp the nettle somehow and really start doing something?
Well, all security is a compromise. And so, as you say, they're going to have to grasp some sort of difficult compromise and pay out some money. Otherwise, more things like this are going to happen.
Jeremy Williams, I mean, from what you know of the business community, do you think they're going to start thinking we would like more security at these big hotels, or else we will take our custom elsewhere to smaller hotels? Or
well,
whatever?
I mean, I think you've touched something that's important there. I mean, if you're thinking in terms of targeting, what one would want to do if you're a bad person is to know where lots of Western people are all the time. And so therefore, if you are a Westerner and a business person, you could vary the hotels that you choose, you could vary the routes that you take between various offices and so on, and that you therefore make it difficult. You spread the target, and therefore security comes from that. I expect Mike would elaborate on that. But I don't think one wants to have bunches of Westerners in certain places at a known time and a known place.
But Michael Heron, I mean, there's no real easy answer, isn't there? I mean, Jeremy is saying don't go to places where Westerners congregate. But we look at the Taj Hotel. I mean, they were Indian-owned. I mean, people might say, I'm going to keep away from the massive Western-owned chains because they are a symbol of the West, but...
Well, exactly. There's the physical security, which we've discussed, and there's the profile, if you like. And I agree with Jeremy that you should. I personally would recommend people stay at 3-star hotels. Go for something. They will probably have worse security, but they're lower profile. And if you were a terrorist, as if you were one of the bad guys, you're going to target the big profile places like the Taj Mahal. So the answer really is, as Jeremy says, is to stay in places that are a little bit less well known.
Last night there were 50 companies who went to a UKTI exhibition on how to do business with India. 50 companies attended last night. So although there's a tragedy occurring now, I think that business will survive and continue. I think we all have to adapt ourselves to where we stay and how we do it and where we go. And we don't want to become a target for bad people who have hijacked a noble religion.
But do you think, though, Jeremy Williams, that businessmen are going to do what Michael Heron is sort of suggesting and perhaps find the alternatives? I mean, will they slum it in the three-star hotels, which don't have the gyms and all the facilities, or service departments, for instance? Are they becoming more popular?
I think you should enjoy the culture of the country. If you're just going to stay at a five-star hotel, we can do five-star anywhere in the world. It looks much the same. I mean, enjoy the differences of the various nations.
But they need the facilities, don't they?
Well, the
internet
business centres.
connections.
Well, I mean, I've got that on my mobile phone. I mean, I can go to a business centre anywhere. And I really don't think that staying at a five-star hotel all the time, every time, is good for you in terms of understanding the culture and the history and the nations.
So there may be a silver lining if people do turn their back on these big
I think
hotels.
at this time of the tragedy that is ongoing now, I don't think silver lining is quite the word I would use, but I think I agree with you, yes.
OK, Jeremy Williams and Michael Heron, thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you. Coming up later in the programme. Could Turkey and Armenia's shared border reopen? We look at the improving relations between the two countries.